hello, Bearcat sports fans. Welcome to Table Talk. We have had a jam-packed first half of this semester. This is the show where we talk about all Sam Houston State sports, the stuff you need to know, the stuff you might not know, the stuff you definitely are going to know soon, and it has been jam-packed. We are going to run the show every other week. It's our first episode, though. I'm very excited, boys. Let's tell them a little bit about ourselves. I'll start. My name is Tyler Josephson. I am the sports editor here at the Houstonian, the campus newspaper at Sam Houston State University, and I spend a lot of time around athletics, as do all of us. So, Jordan, there's nowhere else we'd rather be, in all honesty, though, and that's basically why this show has come to exist. So, Jordan, take it away. Jordan Smith.
Exactly. Well, as he said, my name is Jordan Smith. I am a student broadcaster here at Sam Houston. Used to be the sports writer and sports editor here with the Houstonian as well. Just like you said, we're just kind of sticking around athletics. And
Scott Morris to my left.
Yeah, my name's Scott Morris. I am currently assistant sports editor. We'll be taking over his position in the next semester. I'm also the vice president of NSMA, which is the student broadcasting program here at Sam Houston.
So needless to say, Sam Houston sports pretty much runs through our blood. It takes up a lot of our time, and we love it here, and that's basically what this show is. So if you guys love it as much as we do, tune in, and we'll be up here every other week talking Sam Houston athletics. Let's not waste any time, boys. Let's get right into our first segment. I love this one. It is called Pause Up, Pause Down. We're just going to run through basically a tidbit of a scenario, and then we're going to judge it based on pause up, pause down, and why we think that is. And we're going to start with one that I feel like, Scott, I'm going to kick it to you, and I feel like maybe we won't all be on the same page to start this one. There are 2 games left in Southland Conference regular season basketball before the tournament. Men's and women's are in 4th place right now, and I want to focus on men's basketball being in 4th place with 2 games left in the season.
Tyler, I'm going to have to give that one a pause down.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So when you go into preseason and you look at those standings, we were ranked 2nd to finish in the Southland Conference for men's and 3rd in women's. We're now both 4th place. You get that first round bye, that's fine, but both teams were projected to do better than that. I want to see them do better than that, men's especially, winning the Southland last year, and that's just a team that should be able to just go out there, win games. They've lost a lot of games that they should not have, and it's just been, I wouldn't say disappointing because it's not disappointing to finish top 4, but I would say disappointing on the standards that they've been with at the last few seasons.
But we're talking about the tournament itself here and the run that they're going to make through it. How they got into 4th at this point doesn't matter. That's not what this is about. This is about being in 4th, going into the tournament. Do me a favor, just hold that for me right
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's my pause up.
Okay.
That's my pause up right here. Because this team in 4th place gets that first round bye. And if you ask me, what does Sam Houston State basketball need to make a run through the conference tournament and win it and overcome that hump that they've had the last couple of years, it's that first round bye. That's what this team needs. They can go in and win 2 games, Jordan.
Well, speaking on that, I'm going to give it a pause down.
Wow.
Because here's the deal. The Bearcats still have a chance of dropping out of that top 4 seed. They have a chance of falling to 5. There are 3 teams right now tied for 5th with a 9-9 record, 1 game behind the Bearcats. It's not a sold-out top 4 seed. They still have a chance of dropping all the way to 5th, maybe even 6th place.
And we're going to talk about those 2 games in categories when we get to that in just a few minutes when we're talking about basketball. But let me ask you this, okay? Let's put a little bit of a caveat into this scenario. If Sam Houston basketball finishes the regular season in 4th with one of those top 4 spots in a bye, pause up, pause down, they make it through the conference tournament.
Make it through all the way? I'm going to give it a pause down.
Wow. Okay.
Here's why. Can they get that first win in the second round? Potentially, yes. They would be going against the 5th seed. If they get that 4th seed, they'd be going against the highest seed, which would mostly be the 5 or 6, which we can get to in a little bit or later on in the show about the conference seeding and things like that. But the thing is, though, they can get that first win. Can they get that second win and get to the championship? My opinion, honestly, not really.
So, Scott, I want to go back to something you said about the preseason pick and how this team has actually underperformed based on what the Southland Committee voted. I think that we were 2nd in the preseason poll this year. The reason I have pause up is because my pause down actually goes to that preseason pick. I thought that Sam Houston should not have been picked that high. I thought losing Cameron and Josh Delaney was an insane hit to this team's offense, and I honestly think it still has been. And I think those losses, those really close games, kind of like how you saw them get knocked out of last year's tournament with that loss to UNO, where it was never more than a 3-point game, but Sam Houston also never had a lead once, are those kind of games that this team is just going to struggle to win. But if they come out and they get on top, and they have that rest, and they know who they're going to go up against, and they can prepare, I have confidence in Jason Houghton to get through those 2 games.
So I agree with that statement, but if we go and look back at SFA, we saw that game. It was neck and neck the entire game. And in about a 45-second stretch, they gave up a 7-0 run, 2 turnovers. And that's the part that scares me about this team, is that they can flip like that. They can be real hot or they could be real not very quickly. And I'm afraid that that's going to bite them in the butt when they end up in that Southland Conference tournament. And that's what's going to cause them to maybe not be as successful. They'll probably get that first win after the bye. But going off on those top opponents, you know, Abilene Christian and SFA, they might struggle a bit against those teams.
All right. Let's move on. Let's hit. We'll move from the court. Let's hit the diamond, and let's go to softball. Softball had an incredible midweek that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But for pause up, pause down, Jordan, initial reaction: softball goes 2-2 this weekend in the Bearcat Invitational at home.
My initial reaction is pause up, and here's why. I know y'all may not agree with that, but here's why.
We don't.
No.
For me, the deal is that they improve a little bit defensive-wise in this Bearcat Invitational. They didn't have a great showing in the Classic, and then they improved a little bit in the tournament in between at LSU. But for me, I actually went to the Friday game, and I watched them play against North Dakota State, and they improved defensively as well as they did what they needed to do in the circle. Honestly, I thought it was a big improvement for them.
In their 4-1 loss.
On Friday, now they won 2-1.
Okay, the 2-1 game on Friday. Okay. I'll agree with everything you said until you said the words in the circle, and that's why I'm going pause down. This team is having issues in the circle. This team is having trouble finding someone to go out and just put your faith in and put your defense behind. The reason this team is improving defensively is because they're getting so many opportunities. The strikeout numbers are way down without Lindsay McLeod in the circle. I'm not taking anything away from Karina Sanchez and what she's done. She's been clutch, but she's not that absolute workhorse that Lindsay McLeod was. Reagan Dunn, Brooklyn Devine, Annie Bailey. Annie Bailey was huge this week. I'm not taking anything away from her either. But Karina Sanchez continues to be forced through long innings, and I think it takes a toll. I'm going pause down because this is not the type of competition that I want to see a team with this potential. I don't even want to say caliber at this point because we haven't seen it, but the potential that this team has should not be playing 500 softball against North Dakota State and Louisiana Tech, Scott.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's why I agree with you. Pause down completely. And, you know, you go to that final game on Sunday, up 1-0 going into the 7th inning, giving up 2 runs in that top of the 7th, tying it up in the bottom of the 7th, which is impressive. You know, our head coach, you know, really, Garrett Vallis really preaches on, like, coming from behind and being able to not be taken out of games. But, you know, you give up that 1-0 lead, you're down 2-1, you come back, and then you give it up. Bases loaded, 1 out, and I believe it was the 8th or 9th inning, and they weren't able to get a run on that. That's not something that you're going to be able to play better than 500 base or softball with that. You got to win those games when you have those opportunities.
I agree. We're going to get back into this again in categories a little bit later on. Playing 500 softball on the road, doubleheader at College Station against Texas A&M and splitting that, more than acceptable. Coming home and going 2-2 in the Bearcat Invitational, to me, subpar, just not okay. Now, one more, pause up, pause down. Last one. This one's kind of exciting. This is my personal favorite, guys. Sam Houston State Baseball returns to Minute Maid Park in 2021 for the College Classic. Pause up. I'm just going to pass it off to y'all. There's no way. There's no way. This has to be unanimous.
Pause up. Pause up.
Yes.
Everybody here, we're all going pause up. You kidding me? Back at Minute Maid Park for the College Classic. 2018, having that walk-off win against Vanderbilt. 2014, beating 2 ranked opponents and, like, getting that kind of excitement. And, you know, we were looking forward, maybe they'd play it this year. Unable to play in the College Classic, but now 2021 is going to be our year going back to the College Classic, back at Minute Maid. I'm excited.
Jordan, head coach Jerry Sirianni has said, quote, "We've had success in this ballpark before, and I don't think you can take that statement for granted at all. This team has had success in Minute Maid Park about an hour down the road."
No, definitely, and that's something that is going to help them, especially like you said, head coach Jerry Sirianni saying that they've had success. He's been there for both trips to Minute Maid Park. He knows what the environment's like. He knows how to play in that ballpark. So for him, he already has an advantage above some of those other coaches in the field, and is actually going to be able to help all of his players as well be able to compete at Minute Maid in that environment. It's going to be a huge advantage, and I think the Bearcats are going to surprise a couple of people heading into next year.
Absolutely. So 2014, their first trip, wins over number 12 TCU. I believe it was number 26 Texas Tech in that field. You mentioned the walk-off against Vandy.
Ooh.
I mean, they were ranked number 12 at the time, but Vanderbilt is always just one of those teams that you know you're going to see them in Omaha. And, man, to see that level of competition. So this team is filled. It is an all-Texas showdown. It's kind of cool. We've got Rice. We've got Texas State. And there's some teams that we don't get to match up with during the season. That's great. No U of H, no UT, no Baylor, and you'll see them in the regular season. So the opportunity to face some of this competition, I think, on a stage at Minute Maid Park, anytime you get to play on that kind of stage, there's no downside to this. So that's going to be a great tournament. So let's move on. Let's go ahead and skip down to categories, K-A-T, categories, where we're gonna run through each sport and just talk about what has happened recently and what's upcoming. So let's quickly start with baseball. We just mentioned them in the Classic. Let's focus on this season right now. And let's look at this, I don't want to say disappointing weekend, guys, but maybe not exactly what you expect. So Sam Houston, a big series on the road. They went to Louisiana Lafayette to face Matt Deggs' new squad, the Raging Cajuns, and dropped 2 out of 3. They battled back from down 4-0 to win a game, but then in the finale, they blew a 4-0 lead to drop Game 3. How are we feeling? And I also want to talk about Christian Smith hitting lead off on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not feeling, honestly, not too great about this one. You know, Friday, coming out down 4-0, coming back, winning in that game off of a late 8th inning run, and winning that game, that was great. Confidence booster. You beat, I wouldn't say a revenge series, but definitely you're playing this series with a little bit more emotion. You're playing your old former head coach who has just now left, and your new head coach was a coach on that staff. So there's a lot of connections there, plenty. And, they win that first game, and that's all the confidence in the world, and they lose the next 2, including blowing a 4-0 lead in that last game. And, I mean, as a team, you kind of just have to look around and just kind of say what went wrong, especially, that big series. I know that this meant a lot to those players, a lot of the returning players. They wanted to win this series completely, and unable to take the last 2 games, losing the last 2, that's can't be great on your program.
Well, when you mentioned those connections, Jordan, it was kind of a week of connections. Midweek, they were at UT and Austin, and they played a really close game there. That was a solid game, and I was on the radio call for that. But you look across that dugout, you see David Pierce, who was also an incredibly successful coach, 2012 to 2014 at Sam Houston State. So some familiar foes, kind of a fun week, but 1-3 on the road. So what are we making of it?
So honestly, not a great stretch for the Bearcats. Anytime you want to go on the road, you want to try and get as many wins as possible, because obviously the Bearcats have done a good job throughout the years of getting the wins at Don Sanders Stadium. You want to get those wins on the road as much as you can. Going 1-3, especially early on in the season, you can fix that, but it's not a good sign early on in the year, because especially against top programs like that, your players kind of think, and they look at that and they say, okay, well, you look at that and you're thinking, why are we losing, and are we going to be able to beat those teams if we meet them in the NCAA baseball tournament? Should we get their past conference tournament? It's a not a bad sign, but it's kind of a wake-up call just a little bit of saying, hey, we've got to play better when we're on the road, especially at these top programs, and we got to do a better job of game managing, got to do a better job getting on base, getting runs, and helping our pitching staff.
So 2 players I want to highlight. Let's first talk on the offensive side. Christian Smith, he had a huge series 2 weeks ago, 9 for 14, just peppered extra base hits all over the field, 7 RBIs, hit leadoff Sunday, first pitch double. Do we like him at the top of the lineup? Kind of that little powder keg that might go off at any time?
Honestly, I'm okay with it. Christian Smith, a very good contact guy, a lot of speed, and especially now having Colton Cowser coming out, batting 2 or 3. And I would love to see Colton Cowser bat 2. Have that 1 out. Even if that lead runner comes on, your best hitter is now batting second. That would be great to see. Or you get that top runner or that top leadoff base runner out. You got 1 out, but you got Colton Cowser up to the plate. So honestly, I'm fine with Christian Smith, because he's one of those players that gets real streaky and can go those 9 for 14s, which is insane, and be able to produce those kind of runs at the top of the lineup.
I agree, and I like Cowser because he can be that guy that if a guy's on first, he knows how to move a runner. He has power behind him with Jack Rogers. If there's a guy on second, he can trade places with him. And if the guy ahead of him gets out, he knows how to be a leadoff hitter. And Colton Cowser is just that guy. I would like to see some more stability in this batting order. Anthony McKenzie has bounced all around. 7, 8, 9 hardly ever looks the same. Gavin Johnson still trying to find his swing. Get those top 4 solidified. And if it starts with Christian Smith, I'm good with it. On the mound, Tyler Davis, who has been exceptional as a Friday starter.
Yeah, he absolutely has. He's been absolutely tremendous. It's a good way to start the series. Pretty much every series they've gotten, every weekend series, they've gotten the win so far this season. And it's because of Tyler Davis. He's been, like you said, exceptional on the mound, helping the Bearcats start off strong. But now they got to also take that into the weekend with the rest of their pitchers, and they've got to continue that momentum. It can't just all be on Tyler Davis to go out there and get wins.
All right, softball. We just mentioned it. 2-2. However, what a doubleheader at A&M, Scott. We were there for this. unbelievable, breaking a 51-game losing streak by picking up the nightcap of that game 6-3, and it was a convincing win at the Aggies.
Yeah, it was, especially that, getting that second win, breaking that losing streak of 51 games, going back to the 90s, their last win, and that was huge on that game, and especially, the first inning, they gave up a run. They were down in that first inning, that second game, and, as a team, you lose the first game of that doubleheader, and that's a big, the opposite of a confidence booster, and you're kind of feeling down. They came back, scored 2 runs, got that lead, ended up winning 6-3, never looked back on that lead past the 4th inning, and as a program, that's awesome. Beating an SEC school in anything, really, is so huge on your program. So, yes, us going out there, that was awesome to see, getting that win. And, you'd love to see your team win against those non-conference opponents that are well-known, like A&M.
And so he mentioned coming back after giving up that run, but what they actually did was come back after losing a walk-off in the first game with a play at home plate that I still want to see a replay of, Scott. It was incredibly close, but a walk-off 5-4 loss on a walk-off infield single. I mean, that's got to just be a dagger, but this team bounces back, and they pick up a huge win.
And that shows to the potential of this team throughout the season as well. Them being able to bounce back after such a deflating loss and being able to come back and get that win, the first win, like you said, in 52 tries against A&M, the last 52. And so, it's like you said, it's just a great job by the Bearcats to bounce back in a high-key situation, the second game of a doubleheader, and take care of business and get that win. That's huge. That's a huge confidence booster if you're softball.
Annie Bailey, a very impressive outing to pick up the save in that game, going multiple innings, working around a lot of traffic, getting some key strikeouts, and then good defense up the middle that started with Tiffany Thompson. She's just an absolute lock in the field for them, and an unbelievable running play by Megan McDonald that I'm going to give actually head coach Garrett Vallis the assist on the double play. So deep fly ball center field, McDonald runs it down, runner had already rounded second, and on the retreat to first, did not retrace her steps, missed the bag. Vallis comes out, gets an excellent double play, but it started with the athleticism that the Bearcats have up the middle. Thompson, McDonald, and Brooke Melia at second base shouldn't be overlooked on either side of the ball either, Scott.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those are arguably your 3 best position players. Megan McDonald, Tiffany Thompson being those first-team all-selections to start the season, Brooke Melia being second-team, and, those players leading off your top 3. And that defense is always overlooked in baseball. I want to see that player who's going to be that defensive saver, has those defensive run saves, more than I want a player who's getting those kind of RBIs, because I think that's a lot more. And we talked about this a while ago, just in general. What gets your team more hyped, a defensive play or like an RBI? And it's that diving catch or that insane play, a double play to end the inning on that, and that's what gets your team hyped to go out and hit. So I want a player that's going to be all around good offense and defense, and those 3 are perfect for what that team is.
And there's 2 more on this infield. Kendall Kutach, the regular third baseman, has been impressive out of the bottom of the lineup too. She's produced, and Madeline Weatherly at first base has been great too. And when you have corner production on top of having all Southland up the middle, I mean, this team has a lot of potential conference play that's just right around the corner.
Potentially the best infield in all of the Southland Conference.
I think so.
Like you said, if you have that great corner protection and that production from your third and first baseman, and then, like you said, the all Southland up the middle with the second and third and the shortstop, all you have to do is just keep it in front of them, just get ground ball outs, and there you go. Just 1, 2, 3, and get them down every inning. That's all you have to do as a pitcher. And granted, easier said than done, but when you have that help behind you and you know that you can rely on them, it's much easier as a pitcher to go out there and get the job done.
All right, let's quickly run through Sam Houston Hoops. We're going to talk about this later in the show towards the end when we do a conference preview, but let's just talk about what they've done recently. Men's and women's basketball. Scott, go ahead and just kick it off.
Yeah, men's and women's both falling to ACU this weekend. Women's actually had an impressive showing, although they lost the game. Down 22 at one point, down 51-31 at halftime. Coming back and losing the game on a missed three-pointer by Faith Cook, which would have sent it to overtime. And although you don't get the win on the stat sheet, that looks good going into conference, showing that no lead is safe. When the Bearcats get on the court, that's one thing that I've noticed about the women's team, is that they're able to outpace their opponents. Down the stretch, they are beating their opponents because of their athleticism, because of those kind of plays defensively, and just being able to keep up more than other teams. Coming back, and I mean, we watched it, and it was, I think, 14 points to start the fourth quarter, and even then didn't back down. 1 minute left, down by 7, being able to come back, three-pointers and nearly tying it. I mean, it looks good on your program, even in a loss.
Against ACU, a team that you could very well see very late in this conference tournament, maybe in a championship match. But that outpacing your opponent mentality, I give full credit to Raven Justice at the helm.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the number one thing that she practices and preaches during her practices with her team is conditioning, and you see it so much, as well as the constant substitutions during the game of pretty much everybody. They have a 12-player rotation, and they substitute at least once every 3 or 4 minutes or so. And that's, again, that helps when you're trying to outpace them late in the game, come back in big situations. That helps a lot, as well as the continuous conditioning that they relentlessly push on and on again in practice. It helps for the later parts of the season.
Men's basketball, Jordan, an ugly double digits loss to ACU. Is it concerning?
It's a little bit concerning. We've seen this, especially when they go on the road against big opponents late in the season. It's a little concerning as we are so close to Southland Conference play, but the tournament play. But honestly, I feel like it's going to really, these last two games are going to show what this team can do in the tournament, but coming off of that huge loss. It's really going to be up to them. Really, they control their own destiny right now of staying in that top 4 seed. Like we said, we'll get to that later on. But the fact of the matter is, if they're going to show the rest of the conference that, hey, we're still the Bearcats, we're still a team that you need to actually watch for and know that we can still beat you at any time, at any moment, they got to come back and they've got to get these 2 wins.
You said it's a little concerning. I'm gonna say it's a lot concerning. It's to me, that's a problem, and that's a loss that if you're head coach Jason Hooten, you got to do a little bit more to not make that look as bad as it did.
Yeah, definitely. And again, down, I believe it was a 16-point loss. And I mean, it was just, they were down at the beginning. They never came back from that. They were down. They weren't able to fight back. And again, that is really concerning going into the tournament, not being able to fight back and just kind of letting the lead sit. Because like, the lead consistently stayed at about 12, 13 points throughout the whole game. Besides, a few runs here and there, make it 8, make it 13. But it's definitely concerning just coming from looking at that team and seeing that they're not able to come back from these kind of games against the high opponents that you're going to see late in the tournament like ACU.
I mean, that's kind of been the tail of the tape in conference tournaments, too, is a few years ago against Southeastern, it just back and forth, not able to get on top. And then last year against UNO, just stayed down, 1-possession game the entire time, couldn't get on top. From the basketball court to the tennis court, great conference start for Sam Houston tennis. The women are on fire. A 2-0 start on the road, both games. They haven't even played a conference match at home, and they sit on top of the conference. A 7-0 sweep of Nichols, a 4-3 victory after that. They have only had 4 losses this year, all against top 100 ranked opponents. They're 7-0 otherwise. Tennis, good start. Rob Hubbard, all the credit, and that's a talented group out there.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And once again, that's something you see year in and year out from this tennis program. Once again, just a great start by them. You mentioned that the wins against those top 100 teams, just a great start by them so far here in this 2020 season.
Track and field, also impressive. They're at the indoor championships right now. Men's are defending a title that they have won each of the last 4 years, so a major chip on the shoulder for those seniors there. Javon Martin got it started. He finished in 3rd place in the 60-meter dash. Andrew Bosquez, 2nd place in the men's mile. Josh Smith, 2nd place in the men's 60-meter hurdle. I mean, it can't be overstated how good this track and field program is. We were joking yesterday, there were some events in the prelims that they didn't compete as well in, and we were looking, and they were in 4th place midway through the day yesterday, and they're up in 1st. Women were in 9th. They moved their way up. Coach David Self, the men's and women's team, he does an extraordinary job. I mean, that is just a very quiet and very successful program, Scott.
Yeah, it is very kind of just, low-key kind of successful program that has just continued to be successful 4 years straight for men's winning that. Like, are you kidding me? That's not the kind of success you see with any kind of team, let alone the track and field, and got to give a lot of credit to. They'll be competing March 14th and 15th in the NCAA tournament, and those top people who have been performing, they 14th to 15th of March in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Agreed.
Now we're going to move to bowling, and finishing second at the Hawk Invite last weekend. Top 5 finishes in every one of the tournaments they've played in.
Yeah.
And that's just number 2 ranked now in the country right now. And I believe next week they'll be going to Conroe for the Southland Championship.
1 tournament left.
1 tournament left to go, and then they'll be in Conroe for the Southland tournament. And finishing top 5 in every tournament, that's just, again, more success that you see from a low-key program.
Yeah, and wins over, ranked opponents. They're not doing this against the bottom of the field. It seems like every Sunday they're jumping past people in the top 10, top 15 to get to that top and to stay on top. And this bowling team is just incredibly accomplished.
No, they are. And once again, that's something you see in, year out. And a great compliment to the Bearcats squad there. Honestly, it's kind of business as usual for them getting those top wins. But like you said, getting a top 5 finish in each event, the tournament that they've been in so far, and having that number 2 seed in the country is huge for them right now going into the last little bit of the season. And then, of course, you got golf with women's and men's having an extraordinary start
My goodness.
to the year. Women's, both of their tournaments that they've had so far in this spring season, they've won both tournaments. And then, of course, men's getting 3rd place and 1st place. It's been an absolutely amazing start. You can't ask for anything better for golf for both sides.
It has good starts as a team and a couple individual titles on both sides as well. A lot of top 10 finishes. We're actually going to be joined in just a few minutes by one of those incredible men's golfers that picked up an individual title, Noah Steele. And I want to highlight real quick the men starting their year by winning the All-American, and that was a stacked field, 81 players, 3 ranked teams, and Sam Houston comes out on top. And that's the definition of a statement performance for this team, because they have high aspirations that go well beyond conference.
Yeah, they did. And I remember they were up 1 going into the 2nd day, and just being able to win that against those top-ranked opponents, and as a program that has kind of been overlooked in the top rankings, it's just really impressive to see them be able to take that first tournament, that kind of big All-American tournament, and that's just huge for a program.
And Jordan, it seems like every year there's a new freshman, a new sophomore exploding onto the scene that's successful. I mean, Sam Houston had a freshman leading the All-American, and I mean, he was in 2nd place. He had a rough 2nd day and dropped a little bit, but the guys around him, I mean, it's enough to pick you up as a team. So beyond the individual titles, it just seems like it's hard for the team itself to not come out on top in competitions when you're this stacked and this deep.
Exactly, and that is a credit to the recruiting job of the coaching staff for golf. It's just been an absolutely impeccable job the last recent history, really, for both programs. It's just been a great job. So.
All right, so we're going to cut it here. We're going to go to our first break. When we come back, I am joined by golfer Noah Steele for an exclusive sit-down. He is with us in the studio. Don't want to miss it. Stay here, and we'll be right back in a few minutes on Table Talk.
Hey Bearcats, take your membership on the go by downloading the Sam Houston State University Alumni Cat app today. Not a member yet? Join the Sam Houston Alumni Association or renew in seconds to enjoy exclusive national benefits on dining, entertainment, and much more. Now that you're in, take some time to explore your exclusive member benefits, read the latest edition of Heritage Magazine, or find an alumni event near you. Click on our travel tile to sign up and explore the globe with our traveling Bearcats, or stay connected to alumni in your area as you take your membership everywhere. Come hang out with the Alumni Association as we tailgate some of the biggest games of the year by showing your alumni member card that is now in the palm of your hand. Download the SHSU Alumni Cat app today in the iTunes or Google Play Store, or visit shsu.edu/cat app. Eat 'em up, Cats! The proud son of hardworking immigrant parents, Eric Rodas chose to serve his country. A father, a soldier, and now a college graduate. He proved that circumstances have nothing to do with your outcome. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Eric determine their future. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education. Third-generation Bearcat Tacey Webb roped her way to a national championship through her hard work and fearless dedication. Trading her saddle for nursing scrubs, Tacey set her sights in another arena, a place where she can champion the needs of others. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Tacey reach their championship potential. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education. Hey Bearcats, take your membership on the go by downloading the Sam Houston State University Alumni Cat app today. Not a member yet? Join the Sam Houston Alumni Association or renew in seconds to enjoy exclusive national benefits on dining, entertainment, and much more. Now that you're in, take some time to explore your exclusive member benefits, read the latest edition of Heritage Magazine, or find an alumni event near you. Click on our travel tile to sign up and explore the globe with our traveling Bearcats, or stay connected to alumni in your area as you take your membership everywhere. Come hang out with the Alumni Association as we tailgate some of the biggest games of the year by showing your alumni member card that is now in the palm of your hand. Download the SHSU Alumni Cat app today in the iTunes or Google Play Store, or visit shsu.edu/cat app. Eat 'em up, Cats!
Welcome back to Table Talk. Glad to be here for our second segment. Incredibly glad to be joined by Noah Steele, the 6'1" senior from Ontario, Canada, that has just been tearing it up on the course, man. Glad to have you here. How you doing? You glad to just kind of chill and be in town for a weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here. So your senior season's underway now for the spring, and you kind of, man, you've always just been in the spotlight. Even before college, you came out of Canada ranked #1 in that class in 2016. And how have you just kind of dealt with the attention all these years, man?
I mean, coming down here, that was something I had worked towards for a couple of years and whatnot. And then I just really tried to build off of, I think, everything that I have done previous to now and then now. You know, but I have a great team back home as far as coaches and just different people around me that kind of help make things a lot easier. And then I can just kind of chip away at things and hopefully continue to improve and accomplish things along the way.
I mean, you certainly have. In 2017, you really just kind of burst onto the scene as one of the best golfers in the Southland Conference. You've had back-to-back preseason All-SLC first-team selections. Does that add any pressure for you? Do you really even put much stock into those preseason accolades? Do you appreciate the recognition? How do you kind of view those?
Definitely appreciate, I would say, the recognition for sure, but it's kind of more so just keep doing the same things. And, you know, there are certain things that were done to get to those points and whatnot. And, yeah, the more I can kind of build off of those and continue that that trend, I suppose, the better off I'll be and the better off we'll be as a program.
So you mentioned those things. I think a lot of people don't realize the preparation that goes into this. You know, they'll see the highlights from you going out and shooting your rounds and things like that. But you have a fall season, you have a spring season. I imagine that this is just a year-round kind of competition for you to stay in shape and stay on top of your game, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's certainly what we try to do is kind of stay, you know, on an even keel and kind of. Of course, you're trying to peak throughout your preparation for each event, but I have a bit of a different routine than most. I go back to some really cold weather for a couple weeks over the winter months. I'm from Canada, so so I'm indoors for those 4 or 5 weeks. Except for this past break, I was actually outside with the national team in Arizona for a week. So I had a week to kind of get things transitioned, and usually that's a tougher transition for me coming back for this semester rather than the first, because I come from being, you know, outside into just staying outside and just kind of rolling with hopefully some good stuff from the summer. But for me, it's kind of a full restart, transitioning from hitting inside a box, basically inside a a facility and whatnot, to then moving outside and kind of dealing with external elements. So you know, the quicker I can get comfortable, the better, and then we get into qualifying and you know, get a couple weeks here and there as far as breaks go, but other than that, it's pretty fast and furious once we get started.
So you mentioned those elements. You guys are one of the more traveled teams. You guys play all over the country throughout the season. Do you have a favorite place that you go, a favorite course that you like playing on?
Hawaii's fun.
Hawaii. I would imagine so.
Yeah, we're very lucky that, you know, we get to move around a lot, and everyone's, you know, this weekend we're going to San Diego, and I actually haven't teed it up in California before. I've flown in and out of the state, going to different events or coming back from different events, but you know, it's fun to go different places, and I think too, you know, for each of us individually, it helps our games be more well-rounded. You know, you're playing on different surfaces, and it makes more of a difference than people would think. And the more you can just kind of move around and even learn to deal with longer car rides or deal with travel and whatnot, like it takes some out of you for sure. So I think that we're super blessed as a program to be able to do that and not just, you know, drive within the state or go north a little bit or go east and west, but kind of move around all over from my freshman year until now. So I'm thankful for that.
So we kind of talked about your preparation year-round and staying ready. Walk me through just those days that you compete, from the time you wake up to when you tee off. Do you have a routine? Any superstitions, a special breakfast? I don't know. And then what goes to your head right before you tee off on those days?
Yeah, so with our college event weeks, they're a little bit different than, you know, mine in the summer, where they're a little more selfish when I'm, you know, doing stuff on my own in the summer and whatnot. We're working on everybody's schedule. So we usually, I mean, for an event where we play 36-18, kind of Monday, Tuesday, we arrive on Saturday. Depending on if we're flying or driving, we might get 9 holes in, we might get none in, and just some practice to kind of get moving and get rid of travel swing or car swing that we kind of refer it to. And then Sunday's usually our full practice round day. Sometimes we play 3-day events that go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and those are awesome. You know, they're a little less grueling, and that first day doesn't beat you up quite as much. But Sunday is kind of a full-ish day of practice round for sure, and some practice before and after to kind of touch on things. And then we'll have some meetings and whatnot in the evening, just kind of go over the game plan for the golf course. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't I mean, I think I stay pretty consistent as far as whatever we have that week. I mean, if we get into a routine of going to Starbucks or something for breakfast or whatever, I mean, it's usually the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty simple, but I don't have anything that I really require, hopefully, to play decent golf. So, yeah.
And so just kind of give us your backstory, I guess. I mean, if you know, people that have followed your career here, obviously there's a ton of information about what you've done the last 4 years, but what about before that? What was your journey from Canada, even down here, and especially to Sam Houston, and even before that? When did you get started, and just your background in golf?
Yeah, so I guess hockey, baseball were the sports growing up for me, the family sports. I would play hockey in the winter, and I would play baseball in the summer. And then golf kind of bled into that as well. I had my first, I guess, membership. I was 8 years old, I think turning 9, and it was like a par 63 golf course that I'll always remember, in par 4s, par 3s, 9 of each. And, you know, that's kind of where I saw some, you know, some people that I thought were incredible at the time that were, you know, 14, 15, 16 years old, just a little bit older than me, that I had the chance to chase and whatnot. And once I was able to, you know, be closer to them, I had made some progress, and I moved into playing some junior events just locally to kind of see what it was like to compete in the game. And, you know, I loved that, and eventually pushed baseball aside and kept hockey. And then approaching, I want to say just moving into high school, I pushed hockey aside, which was a big one, you know, because that was something that I mean, as a Canadian kid, like everybody wants to play in the NHL, or at least have hockey as part of your life for as long as possible. And I know my family liked watching me play as well, you know, but just financially, it just gets tight as you go on. So from there, I moved over to our private club and started traveling a little bit more outside of the province. And I did things a little differently. I actually didn't play much golf in Canada, really, which was, I got some heat for that as a young kid, which was interesting, you know, because everyone assumed that, you know, you had lots of money to go down there, where maybe that wasn't the case, and I just kind of had to be a little more careful with where it was put. So I traveled around, you know, kind of the northeast part of the U.S. and played junior events, and then started moving outwards as I picked kind of where I might want to play college golf, and came down to Texas in 2015 for the first time. And I played in Jordan Spieth's event at the University of Texas, and met all the Texas coaches there, and including, you know, Brant Keisha, who's, you know, my coach now, of course. And we connected right away. And you know, I just thought really it was pretty hard for, you know, a coach in Texas to see, you know, one guy all the way, you know, across the border up north. There's a lot of great players, and I know lots of them between that, I guess, land space. So I thought I had to get down here to be able to kind of connect with them, and then has led me now to here.
So you're the only senior on the team this year, aside from Will Holcomb.
Yeah.
And so I actually talked with Will last year. He said you guys are good friends. You spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
Friendly rivalry, good competition. Do you guys kind of push each other to get a little bit better?
Yeah, he said the other day actually that I push him more than he would ever let me know, which is something I think I'm proud of, but happy to hear as well. Yeah, which means a lot. And you know, we roomed together as freshmen, and you know, I think we've seen each other grow, you know, over time, and become better and better players. And you know, he's married, and you know, has a dog, and just seeing him do that whole thing is pretty cool. So no, he's one of the best friends I've ever had, and it's pretty cool that, you know, we have this time left. And people have asked too, like, what's it like to only have a semester left? Well, it's not necessarily terrifying, but it's not something that I'm super stoked about. But it's bittersweet, you know, have more time with him, and for us to battle and work together and hopefully accomplish as much as possible.
He told me last year that he found out that you went to see a nutritionist one day to kind of work on your diet, get back in shape, and he was like, "Man, now I gotta go see the nutritionist. I gotta see what I can do to get a little bit better too."
Yeah, no, that is true. But no, I think we pull from each other quite well, and he kind of sharpens my edge, and I soften his out a little bit. He's I think his way of communicating's a little more direct, and I think I'm a little softer with it when it comes to, you know, leadership and that kind of thing, but it works because we need both for sure.
So you mentioned last semester, what are your plans after college? And also a follow-up question to that, who on this team is kind of making an impact on some of the younger guys that are kind of come in and be that staple moving forward for the next few years? Yeah,
so first with that, you know, we've got Jack, who won the All-American. There couldn't have been a more deserving guy, I think, to win and get his first win. He works super hard, every day. And I think he's latched on a lot to Will and I and what, our coach has to share and say and realize what it's done for us. And now it's, of course, starting to do the same for him. So he's qualified great. And, Luis played awesome and is a great player. I think he was freshman of the year last year and tons of potential. And so we've got a good group of guys that are pulling along with us, and when we have 5 scores in, we drop the lowest one or the highest one, I guess, and count the best 4. But so we've got collectively some good stuff. And but for me, moving forward, there's a couple options. I'm gonna for sure finish this year with the national team in Canada and hopefully finish with the World Am in Hong Kong, if we're fortunate enough to be able to play that. And then either an additional year with the national team and possibly play amateur golf a little longer so that I can go to Australia and do that swing and go to South America and go over to Europe before turning pro, or possibly turn pro a little bit earlier. A lot is kind of dictated by what's ahead, and just try to do the best I can as one day at a time and see how it all falls.
And then, busy schedules, and with all this travel, I'm sure keeping up with schoolwork can be taxing at times, but you guys as a group put in a lot of dedication to your academics. So how has that been through your transition as a student athlete? Yeah,
it was certainly harder in the beginning. I remember for a couple events I would think a lot about what I had to do when I got back, and it's always going to be there, whether you think about it, during your travels or not. It's going to be there when you get back. So, I'm lucky now that things are a little bit lighter than they were originally, but that's just part of being a student athlete, and something that I'll, never wish I didn't have, because it, keeps you disciplined and keeps you on top of things.
So one thing we haven't talked about is your Southland Conference individual championship. I assume that's one of your finer moments here, and something that'll stick with you. So walk me through that entire tournament, I guess, and then that feeling when you won and knowing that you have that under your belt.
That's a lot goes into this one. I would say first win in college, and basically all the years and time prior to actually winning that event, basically went into winning that event. I thought I was maybe going to win a lot earlier in college and that it was going to be easier than it ended up being. But bottom line, I just had to grow in some areas and become tougher and experience kind of not getting it done a little bit more, and realize too that golf's a hard game, and a lot can go your way and a lot can go the other way as well. So learning how to deal with those things is super important. And in the golf course we play conference at, Stonebridge, is an animal in itself, especially when the wind gets blowing and whatnot. And I experienced that as a freshman, and we have a great game plan there as a program that has been very successful the last handful of years. So I just tried to latch onto that the best I could and kind of grow each year I was there. And I think I was leading the tournament my sophomore year as well. And then I didn't end up getting it done. I had kind of a rougher second day, and then just kind of moved it in afterwards. But I got off to a good start this year. Sorry, I guess this previous year. Yeah. And was able to just kind of keep chipping away. We had to play a lot of holes the last day. And if I had to pick a course to play 36 holes on to win my first college event, that would not be it. Yeah. But the thing was that event really, for me, tested all the things I had kind of been working on. I had to get a lot tougher mentally, and I had to really stick to process and routine and just kind of keep hitting quality shots over and over again and just see where that led to. And I was leading by a handful, I guess, with 5 or 6 left, and then it got cut down a little bit because Blake Elliott had made a couple shots up coming in, and I could have still given the tournament away on the last hole. There's water down the entire left side, and you can blow it right, but not too far. And so basically until I had that 5-6 footer left to kind of close it, it was far from over with. And I think that was really good for me. A big thing for me the last year has been more so wanting to be in uncomfortable situations. Because I think you're right where you need to be if you are. Of course, obviously you don't want to be uncomfortable all the time. You want to be where you want to be, but from a competitive standpoint, I think that, the more you can be in uncomfortable positions, the more you're doing what you need to be doing. You're either playing well or, you're in a situation you need to learn to get out of. So I was uncomfortable for sure until I was basically had that putt going on the last hole, and once I was able to do that, it was a pretty sweet feeling having everybody there and rush the green and know that we won as a team, but that I had also finally got it done. So.
Awesome moment. All right, so we're going to finish up with some rapid fire questions for you.
All
right. 7 of them, just the first thing that comes into your mind. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, number 1. If you had to watch a movie on repeat for 24 straight hours, what would it be?
Christmas Vacation.
Okay. If you were to play a sport other than golf in college, what would it be?
Baseball.
Okay. What social media platform do you spend the most time on?
Instagram.
Same. Best flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla.
Okay. Would you rather get up early or stay up late?
I'll get up early all day.
If you could travel to one place in the world right now, I guess that you haven't been, where would it be?
Yeah. I'd love to go to Europe.
Okay. You got to get up and sing karaoke with your friends. What's your song?
Oh, no. Something silly, probably. I'm a terrible singer, so anything that came on that could be fun, I'd be into.
All right. Noah Steele, your 2020 Border Olympics champion, 3rd individual title, certainly much more to come in his senior season. Noah, we really appreciate your
thanks
time.
a lot.
Thank you
thanks
for being
me.
here. This was great.
You got it, man. Thanks.
When we come back, it is one of our favorite segments here on Table Talk. It's going to be the plays of the first half of the season, and they left us speechless. I think they'll leave you speechless too, and that's why we have termed it Cat's Got Your Tongue. Don't go anywhere. Plays of the first half. When we come back, I'll be joined by Jordan and Scott. Once again, Noah Steele, thank you so much, man.
You got it.
We appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break on Table Talk.
Since 1879, students have come from far and wide to a place unlike any other. A place where tradition runs deep, honor holds special meaning, and orange brings us together. It's a place where friendships are formed and futures take shape every day. As a boy, Lorenzo Baez's playground was the streets. When his grandfather suffered a heart attack, one nurse's act of kindness changed his life. Today, he is the first in his family to graduate college, and he's not done yet. He's on his way to becoming a doctor. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Lorenzo defy the odds. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education. The proud son of hardworking immigrant parents, Eric Rodas chose to serve his country. A father, a soldier, and now a college graduate. He proved that circumstances have nothing to do with your outcome. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Eric determine their future. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education.
All right, we're back now, and like Tyler said, we're back to, I love this title. Cat Got Your Tongue, the plays that left you speechless. And I mean, we'll just start it off. We're going off to men's basketball, SFA. Jordan, take this one over.
I tell you what, the Zach Nuttall dunk, absolutely insane. You take a look at the play develop. You see the inside kind of opens up a little bit, and it gets the space for the pick and roll. Keep continuing to play another pick and roll, just that double pick and roll setup. Then, of course, off the putback, and gets the dunk down. I tell you what, that was just a great awareness there by Nuttall in the opposite corner to throw the dunk down.
I didn't see it coming. SFA didn't see it coming. Nobody saw that coming. Damon Swoop put up what looked like a pretty good fadeaway, too. And when it missed, there was no one around. I mean, it was Lumberjack's ball easily. And Zach Nuttall from the corner, boom, for the dunk, for the putback. 1-point game. Exciting. To me, one of the plays of the first half for men's basketball, without a doubt.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were there at the SFA game, and you just kind of looked at me. We were just like, what just happened? I think everybody on the court had the same reaction, and we just didn't know what was going on. That was just insane in that kind of high-stress game. And now we'll go over to women's basketball. Amber Leggett. Tyler, take this one.
So just a hustle play here from Amber Leggett, chasing it down, and there's the block. You see the little bit of a stare at the end, the swag as the Bearcats come in. But Amber Leggett, Coach Raven Justice, she wants to see hustle out of Amber Leggett. She got it. Full court, chase down, one more look at it. Just get up, Amber Leggett. What a block from behind. Jennifer Aramis immediately there to greet her. Just a lot of swag on this women's basketball team, Jordan.
No, absolutely. This team is just one well-oiled machine. They're a really great cohesive unit. They just look like they're friends on and off the court. They know they have just really great chemistry together, and that's another example of it right there.
athletes on and off the court, athletes on the diamond at Don Sanders Stadium. Scott, let's take a look at Sam Houston baseball.
Oh yeah, Sam Houston played 2/3, 5, 4, 3. Are you kidding me? A triple play? That was huge. I believe that was in the middle of a game last Friday, 2 Fridays ago. We were there, and that was huge. 5, 4, 3 triple play. Made Sports Center top 10 plays of the week. Number 6 on that. And that's what you want to see. Triple play. That doesn't happen often.
5-4-3. Shades of Tallahassee. Let's go back to that 2017 Super Regional, Jordan. And that's exactly what the Bearcats said when they turned that 3-ball. And God, that's exciting, right? You don't see that much anytime, and especially in college baseball. Just tailor-made triple play ball if there ever was one.
No, definitely. And you mentioned the Super Regional, an absolutely insane situation of doing it as well that far into the tournament. And, of course, getting the triple play there. And like you said, Scott, as well, not something you see very often. And whenever you see it, it's such an awesome play to see.
And we mentioned earlier, it cannot be overstated. Let's go take a look at the last out of softball at Texas A&M on the road at College Station. Annie Bailey in the circle for her 3rd inning of work. Runner on first, grounded to who else? None other than Tiffany Thompson. Go the short way to Brooke Melia. Look at Emily Tellig at first base getting up. She's excited. Dugout's excited. That was a cold night, but you wouldn't know it. The emotion all over the field as the Bearcats finish it with the 6-4 ground out to break a 51-game losing streak. Some of these players weren't alive, Scott, the last time Sam Houston beat Texas A&M softball.
Yeah, no, 1995, I believe it was, 51 games. You win that, and like Emily Tell jumping up and down, I'd be jumping out of the dugout if that was me, beating A&M on that win, 6-3, and that was just, how huge can that be, beating A&M?
Yeah, no, definitely, especially your quote-unquote geographic rival down the highway just about an hour from here. Honestly, it's a great win, especially because then they can go back to their own home and they can rest easy knowing that they got a huge win against A&M that night.
So many plays that we could have picked from in that game too. We mentioned Megan McDonald earlier, but just finishing it off, Annie Bailey, a very impressive multi-inning save. So those are your plays of the first half. We love it. That's all for Cat Got Your Tongue this week. This is a segment we'll do every 2 weeks, though. We'll have plays from the last 2 weeks when we come back. Let's go ahead and move into what's one of the more important upcoming sporting events. A lot of conference play is opening up. Baseball and softball open up conference. Tennis is just in the midst of it. Track and field, we mentioned, competing at the championships right now. But Southland Conference basketball, 2 teams sitting in the top third of the conference with a chance to try and get to that NCAA tournament. Let's go ahead and lay this out because we have to address this going into spring break. And that tournament will be at the end of spring break, March 11th through 15th at the Leonard E. Merrill Center in Katy, so it's not too far away. It's during a good time, so take a trip out there, support these Bearcats. But let's break down men's and women's basketball Southland Conference tournament coming up.
All right, so we'll go ahead and start with the men's tournament. So basically, right now they sit 4th in the conference. They can't get any higher as the 3 seed is 3 games ahead. But there is still a chance they can drop down to at least the 5th seed, drop out of the top 4, and lose that first round bye.
Yeah, so let's lay out these scenarios. Let's go through where we're at now and what could possibly happen, where we could finish, depending on these last 2 games. So this is always kind of fun to look at. The conference shakes up so much at the end of Southland basketball.
Absolutely. So just one win out of the final 2 for the men's basketball team secures a 4 seed. It secures it, done and over. That's their seed. They're not moving up. They're not moving down. 2 wins also does the same thing. Again, once again, the 3 seed and higher, at least 3 games ahead, so there's no way they can catch up and get a higher seed.
So that's easier said than done, though. These last 2 games are not easy. They're on the road. You're not at Johnson Coliseum, and you're in 2 tough environments, A&M Corpus Christi and SFA. You got to be shooting for that 1 win, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You have to get a 1 win. You can't rely this late in the season. You can't rely on another team getting that, doing what you need to do. 1 win, you clinch that 4 seed, that first round bye that this team will need, getting that day off in front of everybody. And if they can win one of these 2 games, they have to. It's also a confidence booster for this team if they're able to get one of these wins, and they have to go out there. They have to beat Corpus Christi or SFA, and you have to do it.
In my opinion, you got to put everything you have into beating the Islanders. Going into SFA, if that game was at Johnson Coliseum, that's a level playing field. I mean, we saw it. That game was decided by a 7-point swing in under 60 seconds. It was some sloppy play and a couple of turnovers. You go into SFA to end a season like they've had. I mean, this is a talented basketball team, but you got to figure you're coming full force at A&M Corpus Christi. You don't want to be in a position to have to beat SFA on their home court.
No, definitely, and that's something that you mentioned earlier. You have to beat the Islanders. The Islanders still have a lot to play for. Right now, they sit as the first team out in that 9 seed. They can jump all the way to 6 in these last couple of games here this next week, all they have to do is get a win against the Bearcats and against HBU. They jump from 9 to 6 because they have the tiebreakers over the 6 and 7 seeds. The 8 seed would have to lose one, which I believe is UCA. They would have to lose both their games. But the deal is A&M Corpus Christi still has a ton to play for. They have a chance to get, like I said, all the way as high as 6. That is a huge jump from the first one out to 6. They got to get wins, though, so you got to believe the Bearcats, like you said, have to come out with full force and have to get this win against a team that is going to be playing for everything.
I mean, this is a testament to how good Southland Conference basketball is, right? And I mean, SFA kind of prompted this conversation with their win over Duke earlier this year, and I mean, Nichols was competitive at Pitt. Like, Southland Conference basketball is very good, and that shows. But SFA, you're competing against a team that, on a national level, has 47 votes in this week's AP Top 25. They're number 28 in the country. I mean, so to rest your bye in the conference tournament on them, it's a lot to play for Sam Houston too. The problem is, if you sit at that 4, you would love to try and win both games and get to that 3 spot so that you wouldn't see SFA until the championship, because that 4 seed's going to run through them.
Yeah, it is, and like you said, SFA getting that huge win over Duke, and that just kind of showed. But you just never know about Southland basketball. We had the 1st seed last year and lost to Louisiana in the 1st round after our double bye. UNO. And so you go in and you just never know what's going to happen with Southland basketball, because for all we know, SFA could lose the 1st game or they could completely dominate. Who knows what's going to happen? But those teams that are able to compete at those high levels, it's not an easy conference. People overlook the Southland, and it's not a conference that is something that can be overlooked.
So let's quickly go to the women's side of the bracket. Where are they at? What can they do?
So right now, like we mentioned earlier, they sit 4th on the conference. They still have a chance at winning the entire regular season title.
Yeah, that's a misleading 4th seed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All they have to do is win out and at least 1 loss, if not 2, by ACU, who sits at the 3 seed, tied with them, but has a tiebreaker. They win the Southland Conference regular season title. That's all that has to happen for them to get to the 1 seed. They have to beat A&M, and they have to beat SFA.
How big is it for the women to pick up a double bye?
Oh, completely. When it comes to those kind of double byes, you're able to get that rest. You're able to kind of talk to your team, see how the other teams are playing, see what's working for them, what's not in the conference tournament. Get those 2 days off, watch your opponents, and I think that's huge, especially trying to get that number 1 or 2 seed. And as a team, when you win the conference, you tell your team, we did that. We have shown we're better than this team, so we need to go out there and prove them all wrong.
Jordan, do you feel like even as a number 4 seed, Sam Houston is the team to beat in the conference tournament this year?
Oh, absolutely. The amount of progression that they've shown in the past couple of years has proven to me that they are the team to beat in the Southland Conference. Pretty much the only team in their way right now, in my opinion, is number 1 SFA, if you really look at it. But honestly, the Bearcats are the team to beat. They're the ones that everybody's going to say, okay, in order for us to get to the dance, we have got to go through Sam Houston. And, of course, if the Bearcats get through and they win the conference tournament, first time in school history, they make it to March Madness.
Yeah, I mean, that would be huge. For me, the big thing is that this team is capable of beating anybody that they play, conference or not. I mean, this team is capable of competing, but certainly on the stage at the Merrill Center, you don't have an excuse not to come out of it victorious if you're Raven Justice. That's personally just how I feel about this squad.
Yeah, I believe that. And, you know, we look at the beginning of the season, best start in conference history for the school, starting 9-0, beating everybody that they started against, and just having that, showing you can beat every team in this conference. Going into that, that shows that your team can do it, and I agree. I think you got to come out of this with a March Madness bid.
So a lot to look forward to in the next 2 weeks. I cannot wait to be back here on March 16th with you guys and recap this the Monday after spring break. School might slow down. Sports does not. Sam Houston Athletics is in full swing. There's a ton of sporting events, so if you're hanging out around Huntsville, head on out. Head to Katy. Go support the Cats. We could have a pair of teams in the NCAA tournament, and we could know that at the end of spring break, so this is huge. We are going to be back March 16th. We will be here every other week on Table Talk. For Jordan Smith, for Scott Morris, I'm Tyler Josephson. And until next time, have a safe and fun spring break. Show up, support your Cats. Eat 'em up, Cats. We'll be back on Table Talk Monday, March 16th. Thanks for joining us.